This is the May 5th, 2012 recording of Dray Clark, keynote speaker at the Chester Youth Summit, held at Widener University. Recorded by Stefan Roots.
Good afternoon, everyone. Dray Clark is a native of Chester, Pennsylvania, where he graduated from the Chester High School Academy. He is also a reporter and weekend anchor for CBS 3 and an adjunct professor at Lincoln University. Mr. Clark joined CBS 3 in the CW Philly as a general assignment reporter in September 2008. Clark came home to the Delaware Valley from WJW-TV, the Fox station in Cleveland, Ohio, where he has been a reporter and weekend anchor since 2005. Clark is a member of the National Association of Black Journalists, and his reporting has been honored with the 2004 Michigan Emmy Award for the Best Health and Medical Series and 2 awards from the Press Club of Cleveland for Spot News and General News. An advocate of literary programs, Clark has served as a mentor and tutor for children in the cities where he has worked. His interest grew out of his own struggle with reading as a grade student. He is a 2000 graduate of Lincoln University, the nation's first historically black college, where he earned his Bachelor of Science degree in English Communications. Clark and his family live in Delaware County, Pennsylvania still. Please help me welcome to the stage Mr. Dray Clark.
Thank you, Jayla, for that introduction. And good afternoon to each and every one of you that are here today. I'm very appreciative that you took time out to consider me and to listen to me as your speaker. I want to thank the organizers and the producers of this event. I know it's a large task to try and put something together this large, and you guys have been doing it for the last couple of years, and you've been doing it successfully. And this year I have the privilege and the pleasure of being your keynote speaker. And I want to thank my cousin Issa, who called me up a couple of months ago and asked me if I would be here, if I would consider doing it naturally. I said yes, because I think whenever I have the opportunity to reach out to young people, I like to take advantage of that opportunity. So I'm hoping that throughout the course of what I'm going to say, and I'm really not going to be long because I know many of you have had a long morning of presentations from various speakers, so I'm not going to be very long at all. But while I am here, I'm hoping and praying that I'll be able to maximize the moment. I can maximize my time with you, and that you'll find something that I share with you this afternoon in a way inspiring or empowering in one way or another. Because I plan on being brief, I'll do something a little different. Usually when I do public speaking, I'll just kind of do my thing and I kind of just exit stage right. But if there is anyone who might have a question for me, I'll be mindful of my time and I'll entertain a few questions that you may have, because many times, especially when you're talking to young people, I talk about a lot of different things, but I may not talk about something that's near and dear to your heart. You may have a question in your mind or in your heart that I did not address in my speech, so if I can at least address you, I'd like to do that if I can. With that said, let me tell you a little bit about who I am. Jada kind of gave you a quick synopsis of me, but I am Dray Clark, born and raised right here in the city of Chester. I grew up in the Benjamin Banneker apartment complex, which is on 7th Street. I also grew up not too far away from here on the other side of town, over on East 22nd Street. Went to Chester High School, went to middle school in Chester, went to elementary school, graduated in '96, went on to Lincoln University, graduated from Lincoln in 2000, and then I began my career as a broadcast journalist. Now, the reason why I like to give you that perspective is because I want you to understand, how many young people do we have in here that are from Chester? Just raise your hand so I can kind of get a sense of who I'm talking to. Perfect. Philly, anybody here from Philly? Wilmington? Okay, so we got a mixed bag here. The reason why I always share with the audience of young people about where I'm from, because I want you to understand that I am not that much different than who you are. I grew up in a single parent household. Although my father and I had a great relationship, my mother was my primary provider. Neither of my parents are college educated. In fact, in my family, I can count the number of college graduates we have. I think there are 4, maybe 5 at the most. I grew up under the same circumstances as some of you. I experienced some of the death. I experienced that sense of depression. I experienced that sense of destruction. Much of what you see when you're walking to school, when you're walking from school. But despite all of that, I was able to make it and to achieve a goal that I set for myself when I was in the 8th grade. I knew in the 8th grade that I wanted to be a television news reporter, that young. And the moment I decided that I wanted to be a television news reporter, I did everything I could do to ensure my success. 12 years later, here I am working in Philadelphia, a city where I've always wanted to work, since I made up my mind that I wanted to be on TV. What makes me different, perhaps, than some of you and some of my friends is that I decided a long time ago that I was going to try and be the most productive and the most positive person I could possibly be. Making the right decisions. At your age right now, many of you think you're kind of Teflon. Like everything you do is correct. Like no one can tell you what to do. No one can tell you how to do it because you're in that phase of your life where you kind of, some of you at least, think you have it down pat. But let me make it clear. If you are one of those young people who are doing the wrong thing, if you are one of those young people who fall easily to peer pressure, if you are one of those young people who don't believe it's the right thing to do, to respect those who try to sow seeds into your life, I can almost guarantee you'll come against some tremendous difficulties in your life. The reason why this symposium, this event today was organized is because someone believes in you. I believe in you. And I don't even know 95% of the people in this room. But I don't need to know you in order to believe in you, or to love you, or to understand what you want to do. The fact that you are here, and you've been here all morning long, listening to various speakers on different topics, having various discussions, is a clear indication to me that you want to do something positive and productive with your life. But I'm also keenly aware that there are some things you will come up against that will easily take you away, easily take you off of that positive and that productive path. Number one, peer pressure. It is so easy to do the wrong thing. When I was in high school, I came up against peer pressure. Weed, alcohol, drugs, all those same things that many of you all experience today. And I would be lying to you if I didn't tell you that I didn't consider doing some of those things. Because it was easy for me to do the wrong thing. But luckily I had a strong family. I had strong mentors who let me know that if you do these things, you're not going to make it. You're not going to make it. Peer pressure. Those around you who want you to do the wrong thing. Those who tell you to go the wrong way. Do you have the courage to cut them out of your life? Those around you who, when you say you want to be a doctor and a lawyer and a teacher, they look at you and they laugh at you. Do you have the courage to cut them out of your life? Those who choose not to speak life into who you are, who choose not to speak life into your journey, those who would like to see you fail rather than succeed, do you have the courage to cut them out of your life? I'm not sharing things with you that I haven't done. There is no secret to success. There are right decisions and there are wrong decisions. And the more wrong decisions you make, the more complicated positions and situations you will end up in. I could speak forever and a day. It's what I do. I make a lot of money, 5 days a week, going on television at Channel 3. And I sleep well at night because they pay me well. But I also go around speaking to a lot of young people. I travel all around the country, having conversations with young people, and older people for that matter. And guess what? I don't get a dime for it. The only thing I get sometimes is a plane ticket and maybe a car ride to the hotel or to the school. I don't ask for a dime. Because I understand we are at a serious and critical position. And make no mistake about it. The same thing you are facing as young people in Chester, and in Wilmington, and in Philly, are the same things children in Chicago, Atlanta, Cleveland, Detroit, Los Angeles. We're all in the same group. All facing the same circumstances. But what makes you different are the decisions that you make. What path will you try? What path will you take? How will you go about getting your success? I think the question that I had last night when I was writing the speech was, show me your swag. We all know what swag is, right? It's how you move. It's how you talk. It's how you live your life. It's what we hear in hip hop. I think it's Soulja Boy has like 10 songs about swag. And you probably know most of them. But swag, what is swag? I'll tell you what swag is. Swag is this. When you walk in a room as a young man or a young woman, when people turn around and look at you and say, that's a bad young sister. That's a bad young brother. Bad meaning good. Meaning you are sharp. You're intelligent. You know how to speak. You're respectful. You work well with others. That's swag. Swag has nothing to do with what kind of clothes you wear. Let me first address females. Now, since they asked me to come and do this, understand that you're going to get what I'm giving you. First, females. We see it time and time again. I see it time and time again. Where young sisters allow themselves to be disrespected by young brothers. What do I mean by disrespected? First of all, as a young sister, you don't have to objectify yourself at all to gain respect. You don't have to show this or show that to get a young man's attention. You don't have to do that. That's not who you are. That's not who you were made to be. But that's what you are now believing based on what we see on TV and what we hear on the radio. You hear this all the time. I see it all the time. Young women who allow young men to call them out of their name. As if the word B-I-T-C-H is a term of endearment. It is degrading. It is disrespectful. And for any young lady who would allow themselves to be called a B-I-T-C-H and somehow walk away and smile and think it's a great thing, you're lost. You're lost. I'm a realist, so I understand that much of what I'm going to say is going to be lost on many of the young people in this room. I understand this. But there are some young people in here under the sound of my voice who get it. And who will walk out of here with their head held high and their back straight and will refuse to be called out of their name because they know who they are. While there will be some who will continue to allow it to happen, and then at some point in their life, they'll get it. They'll get it. But by then it really won't matter. Because you've allowed them to call you out of your name for so long that they won't address you by anything else. Because you've answered to it for so long. It is wrong to allow a man to call you out of your name. You should have elegance like a Madam C.J. Walker. You should speak like the queens that you are. You should act dignified. It is who you are supposed to be. That's swag. That's swag. When I meet there's nothing more, and I'm 33 years old, there's nothing more appealing to me than when I'm in a meeting, and I also teach at Lincoln University, or when I meet a young sister who is aware of who she is, who is smart, sharp, well-spoken. That to me is a good representation of a young lady and a young woman. Brothers, if you call a female, and if you believe all females are B-I-T-C-H-E-S's, then that makes you the son of a B-I-T-C-H. And in case some of you can't spell, that makes you a son of a bitch. That's reality. And I'm not afraid to say the word because you hear far worse in your school and on your school bus. So if I've offended you, get over it. Get over it. Men, it is wrong to call a woman out of their name. It's not who you are meant to be. So what is a real man? A real man is someone who works in his community. A real man is someone who takes care of his family. A real man is someone who can stand up to another man and say, I will not allow you to disrespect my mother, my sister, my friend, my neighbor in front of me. That's what a real man is. A real man is not someone who runs around hands half down, cursing every other word, talking crazy every other word. That's not what a man is. And I'm sure throughout the course of today, you've heard that in one of these seminars you've been to. That's not that's not how a man is supposed to operate. Make the right decisions. Make up your mind today that you're going to do the right thing. I've interviewed a lot of mothers who have buried their children. And they always say the same thing. What did I do wrong? In living rooms with mothers who have 15 and 16-year-old children who should be preparing to go to the prom or graduating, but instead that mother is talking to me, that father is talking to me about their son or their daughter in the past tense. This is real. What's happening outside these walls, I understand, in Chester is very real. And I know it's real because I'm here every day. I know what you're up against. But I was up against those same demons, those same devils, those same folk who didn't want to see you do anything with your life.
That's right.
The only thing I did was make up my mind that I was going to do something with my life. And I don't define that something by money. I define it by happiness. Am I happy with what I'm doing for a living? Yes. Am I happy with the way I'm raising my son? Yes. Am I happy with the work that I'm doing in my community? Yes. You don't understand what these folks say about you when you're from Chester. You haven't been in the meetings. You haven't heard the conversations. You don't know how they think of you. I've been in the meetings. I've heard the conversations. But because I speak properly and I handle myself well, they forget that I'm from Chester. And so I allow them to say what they have to say about my young people, my young brothers and sisters. I'll allow them to say it. I want them to get it all out. Because I want to know how you really feel. And then when they get done, I remind them, hold up. You're talking to somebody from Chester.
All right. All right.
They call you failures because you're from Chester. They say you're stupid because you're from Chester. They say you won't make it because you're from Chester. They say the school district should shut down because you're from Chester. They've already written you off and assigned an X to your name, making you ineffective. You don't matter in the eyes of many people. They wouldn't care if you make it, break it, they don't care. Doesn't matter to them. Because that's how they feel. You should hear the things they say. But with that in mind, everything you do, every time you walk out of that classroom, every time you walk in that classroom, you should be thinking that you want to make liars out of all of them. You should be thinking of ways to defy the odds, how to blaze the trail, how to make a difference. But I understand you're young. You may not get it, but I'm not that far removed at 33 years old. I remember sitting where you are sitting, listening to many speakers, but I was always in awe with people who knew how to speak well. And I'm not suggesting in any way that I'm doing that right now. But as a young person, I was always in awe with people who spoke well, man or woman. I was fascinated by language. I always wanted to know more. I said, there has to be more to life than what I'm seeing when I'm walking to school. This can't be it. There has to be more to life. So I had an aunt who took me to the suburbs and parked in front of $1 million homes and said to me, listen, make this clear. If you do everything that you're supposed to do, you pray, if you work hard, you can live in a house just like this. You don't have to sell drugs. You don't have to kill anybody. You don't have to rob from anybody. Just do it the old-fashioned way. Work hard. And I got it. I got it. That aunt who did that for me passed away in 2005. I had a grandmother who passed away in 1999, who gave this city everything she had until her dying day. Everything she had. And so that spirit of giving back is on me. Not just from my family, but from God. The God I serve tells me that I have to do everything possible to affect and change and influence positively as many lives as possible. I have a 4-year-old son. I could easily take him, raise him, move into the suburbs, and just live my life and not worry about what happens in Chester. Because many people think already, well, what are you doing here? Why are you coming back? These are the kinds of questions that people ask me. Sheer ignorance. Sheer ignorance. And that's what's happening in Chester. There are a lot of people in Chester who have made it, y'all, but they won't come back. They won't come back and give you an ounce of wisdom, an ounce of their quality time. And I don't need a gold star from anybody in this room, because nobody is asking me or nobody is paying me every day to do what I do. I do it because I want to do it. And if you know me, I don't do a damn thing that I don't want to do. Nothing. But listen to this. A kid from Chester, Pennsylvania, interviewing Barack Obama.
Yeah.
A kid from Chester, Pennsylvania, interviewing Hillary Clinton. A kid from Chester, Pennsylvania, interviewing Queen Nora of Jordan. A kid from Chester, Pennsylvania, sitting at the same dinner table as Gayle King. A kid from Chester, Pennsylvania, having a quality conversation with Bill Cosby. A kid from Chester, Pennsylvania, who has a legend like Ruby Dee come up to me after a speech and go, "You're blessed. Keep on doing what you're doing." If I had believed what those folks said about me when I was sitting where you were sitting, I would be Dray Clark, that kid from Chester, possibly serving 25 years to life. Because I gave up. Because I felt like I had nothing to live for. And so I just simply decided to take a person's life. All of you were born with the ability not to be perfect, because perfection doesn't exist, but to be excellent. And if you don't believe that, you're already defeated. If you don't believe that you were divinely designed to be special and to be great, you are already undefeated. Every day that I wake up, I thank God for speaking into my words, thinking into my thoughts, and working in every deed that I do. And I make a lot of mistakes, even at my age of 33. I make a lot of bad mistakes. I've even hurt people throughout my 33 years. But the God I serve says, repent, hit the reset button, keep on keeping on. So I understand. I'm not at all offended if all of you under the sound of my voice would find my time here useless. Because I'm going to still do me. I'm going to still do what I do. I'm going to still continue reaching out to young people. I'm going to still continue empowering young women, young men. Some of them are in this room. I've had a chance to speak to a lot of brothers. Some over here, some in the back, and every time they see me, it's nothing but love. And I ask them, how you doing? Everything all right? Need anything? Let me know. Some of them call me. I don't know if John Lally is in the room, but I met John a couple of years ago. John and I have become close. John is graduating this year. He is the recipient of many scholarships. I don't take responsibility for any of it because his family is great, but John is one of those young people that I met who inspire me.
All right.
He inspires me. I remember meeting this young brother right here when I came and spoke to the group down on 9th Street. I know that he's a rapper, spoken word. I remember this about you, right? I remember things about young people who have a positive influence on me because you touched my life. You inspired me to do what I'm doing. And I hope that if you should watch me on TV, if you should see me on TV by chance, that you will say to yourself, if he can do it, then I can do it. Because I didn't do anything special. There's nothing special about me. Nothing special about me. I just made the right decisions. I just did the right thing. And unfortunately, some of you all just aren't getting it yet. You still have that attitude of I'm all that and then some. But trust me, you will have a moment when you will break down and you will fall down. And at that very moment, you will realize that you don't have it all figured out. What you're experiencing today, you may never experience again in your life. In the period of from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., you've had a cross-section of life lessons from very educated and highly successful people. People who easily could have gone anywhere on this Saturday afternoon and done anything, but they chose to be here with you because they believe in you, just as I do. And so I sincerely hope, in fact, I pray, that you will get it, that you will embrace who you are, that you will not allow anyone to call you out of your name, that you will make liars out of those folks who don't even live in Chester, who say you are less than nothing. That's my prayer. Because please understand, I got mines. I got it. I got it. I put my time in, and I got it. But I'm not selfish. I want other people to have it. I want other people to love it. I want other people to live it. But most importantly, I want you to pass it on to somebody else. Be the change that you want. Set the example. Be that young person that people respect. Be that young person that when your name is called, they smile versus put their head down. Be that young person. If you want to be bad, be bad in a good way. Make a difference. Work in your community. And remember that just because you're from Chester doesn't make you different or deficient or derelict. It just means you're from Chester. That's all it means. There are no barriers in front of you. The only person who can stop you from being what you want to be is you. You are that person. So make up your mind today, make up your mind tomorrow, make up your mind whenever. But I sure hope that one day I'm at the gas station where I'm walking through the community, or I'm running or doing something, and you stop me and go, hey, listen, I was at the auditorium a couple of years ago and I heard you speak, and look, I just want to let you know, I went on to college, got my degree, or I'm about to go to college. I'm majoring in education, psychology, whatever, and I just want you to know I'm still on that positive track. And that's enough for me. That's all I need to hear to make me feel satisfied, to make me feel justified, to make my life in some way seem meaningful. Seem meaningful. So today, as you leave this place and you go back to the other part of the afternoon, it is my prayer that God's blessing will be upon all of you. Whatever God you may serve, that God's blessing will be upon all of you. And that you will continue to do the work that you know is right. That you will continue to make the decisions that you know are right. And if there's anyone in your life, whether it be a friend or yes, even a family member, because they will dog you out too, that you have the courage to cut them out of your life and to surround yourself with people who love you. Last thing I'll say is take a look at the 5 closest people around you. Something that Will Smith says. take a look at the 5 closest people in your circle of friends. The 5 closest people you hang out with. That's who you are. So if they're a fool, you're a fool. Because you hang around those that you believe in. So if you are hanging around with fools, today you might want to reassess your friends. If you hang around with geniuses, I'm not even saying that's a good thing, but hang around quality people. The people who will tell you to do the right thing when you want to do the wrong thing. And if you do that, you'll be fine. I want to personally thank Issa. I don't know where she is. She may have walked out for the invitation to be here. I want to thank Councilwoman Chester, who was here for coming out, Ms. Twyla Simpkins, police officers in the back. Some of these people I know, Darren, Kenny, Butch. I'm calling these names because I know these people personally. And you should know who they are. These are the people in your community who are doing great things. These are the people in your community who believe in you. Get to know them. Network with them. They can change your life. They can change your life. And if you don't believe it, just ask me. Because it was people in this community right here who changed my life. God bless us all, and I thank you so much.